Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can probably hear, I am sick. I decided today to do a voiceover. I'm just doing the look that's made me feel like I look half alive during these last few days. So yeah, I just wanted to do that for you. It's not a lot of new stuff. Basically, the only new thing that I had to use today was the Rhode Peptide Lip Shape. And I'll go through my feelings about that while I'm doing the voiceover. And then I tried this one here as well, the Anastasia Impeccable Setting Spray. So I'll just discuss those two products. I am waiting on the Victoria Beckham Victoria Eye Wardrobe. I'm waiting on the Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm waiting on the Dior bronzer. So those will be to come. Hopefully I will be feeling much better next weekend, but I did want to get something up for you. And basically this is just the look I've been wearing throughout my sickness because it's the only thing that makes me feel like I look half decent. You might disagree. And I'm aware that my foundation is too dark, but it's fine. I don't really care. It's the skin tint, the Maybelline skin tint. I do need the shade 118. I have 120, but I feel like once my makeup is all done, I feel like it's fine. Like, it does look obviously a little bit darker, but I'm not that concerned about it. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoy this video, even though it is a voiceover and my husband was laying in the background because he's also sick. So yeah, but anyways, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next weekend, hopefully with some new stuff. So here I am going in with the Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint. I'm using the shade 120, I believe. 120, as you can see, I'm saying, is too dark. But yeah, it's the only one that I have. I need to go for 118, but I don't have it yet. So I'm just going in with what I have. Usually I do mix it with other foundations, but I've been really liking just the look of this one on its own. So that's what I'm using today. I was about to get 118 the other day, and then I was like, you need to stop yourself because I have so many foundations that I'm not going to be able to use before they expire. But yeah, obviously you could see it is the wrong shade. I do feel like as the day goes on, for some reason it just looks like it blends a little bit better. You'll see, like, throughout the video, it does look like it almost gets a little bit lighter, which is good that it doesn't really oxidize. But yeah, I feel like it is light, so you can kind of shear it out so that it's not quite as dark as it would be if it were like a obviously full coverage foundation. But I still like it. I did speed up the video a little bit just because for some reason it takes me 7 hours to blend my foundation. I usually go on my hand, but for some reason I just was like, I don't care. And I went in on the face. And my hair is very messy right now. I apologize. I haven't really done much with it for the last few days. Usually I have been using my Fenty foundation. I did try out the new Anastasia foundation. I could try it in a video if you wanted to see it. I have two different colors. I have 0CR, and then I have, I think it was 1N, I think. I can't remember, but I do really like them. I don't really have a perfect shade. I'd almost need the two of them combined. So I might mix them in one of my newer videos, but it does feel a little bit heavy. Like, I just really like the way this Maybelline one feels. Feels a lot lighter on my skin. Obviously the Anastasia one is more of a matte finish, so anything with a matte finish will look a little bit heavier, especially because it's a fuller coverage. But yeah, I don't know, I've just really been liking the last few days the look of this Maybelline on my skin, and it's very easy to use, easy to blend. I'm going in with the House Labs concealer. I'm using 2 different shades. This one I never really found my perfect shade in. This is one of the more rosy tones, and then I have this one here is a more golden tone. I will obviously list the shades down below. I can't remember both of them off the top of my head, but if you could see somebody moving in the background, that is my husband laying in bed. I tried to cover him. To blend out the concealer, I'm using one of the new Morphe concealer brushes, and I feel like this brush works a lot better on a thicker type of consistency. Like, I don't love blending out the Refi because it's more of like a serum concealer, but I feel like because the House Labs concealer has a little bit more substance to it, I guess, it's a little bit thicker, a little bit more hydrating. This one works really nice with that brush. And then I'm using one of the pinpoint powder brush to add my Pat McGrath, the Sublime Perfection under eye brightening powder, and I'm using the shade Baby Pink. And I'm just taking a puff and just kind of smoothing it out a little bit. But I feel like I don't use quite as much powder. Even though when I use a puff, I do kind of tap it off on my hand. I poked my eye. Not having a good day. Yeah, I feel like when I do use a powder brush instead of the puff, I'm not adding quite as much product. Like I said, I do tap off some of the excess on my hand when I'm using a puff, but still you get more product than if you're just using a fluffy powder brush. So that's what I'm going in with right here. And then just kind of blending it out a little bit more with the puff. And going on top of the eye with the MAC paint pot in the shade Soft Ochre. This one is basically my exact skin tone shade, so this one works the best on my eyes. I don't know why I never use concealer. I've just always used the paint pot, and it's never steered me wrong. Just going in now with the NARS Soft Matte Advanced Perfecting Powder, and I just have the shade Cove. I feel like that's the second lightest shade, I believe. So even though this skin tint has a nice little bit of glow to it, the NARS is like a mattifying powder, as I said in the name. But it still gives a tiny bit of that glow from the Superstay. But even though it's glowy, it doesn't look greasy. That's always one of my, just drinking my tea here. That's always one of my main concerns, is if a foundation is too hydrating, it can definitely look greasy on my skin, but this one does not do that, and I love it for that. Just going in with the Dior Forever, is it called the Skin Contour Stick? I have the shade 1N, and that is the lightest shade, and it's definitely a cooler tone. I think I'm going to bring back the Rare Beauty contour, the liquid contour. I just feel like it's too much like my Say bronzer, because mine is definitely a bronzier shade. And then I do like a shade below it, I think it's called Gentle, but then it's too close to this one, and I prefer the cream on my skin rather than the liquid. So it's like, if I don't need it, why should I keep it? So I think I'm going to just exchange it for something else. I hate doing that, but I don't know. It was a decent amount. And if I'm not going to use it, I don't want it to just sit around in my collection, collecting dust. I really like this one. It just blends out so easily. Sorry if I keep looking over at the TV. We were in the middle of watching Mad Men, and there was a crazy scene happening, and I wanted to see what was going on. I'm just using the It Cosmetics brush to blend this out. I really like this brush because you could use the more fluffy side, the bigger side, to blend in. I usually use it for contour, and then the skinny side I use for my nose contour. But it's very nice and blends out very easily. This is the Victoria Beckham Beauty Contour Stylus, and it is in the shade... It's not Marble. It's the lightest shade. I will look it up, and I will add it in the description box. It is a little bit warmer than I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be a tiny bit cooler, but that's fine. I do really like using it around the lips. I have seen a few other creators do this, and I do think it looks really nice, so I wanted to try it out, and I've been really liking it the last few days. I feel like it's just given my lips a little bit more oomph. Gives them a little more something something, and then I add my lip liner, and I feel like it all just blends together really nice. So I am using it on the nose, and again using that same brush just to blend it out. I've been wanting this for so long, and then I finally just bit the bullet because I saw so many people using it. And I'm not mad about it. It's definitely small. I'm probably going to go through it pretty quickly, but I'm glad to have it. This is the Sephora Colorful collection, the lightest shade in the contour powder. And I just use it for, I just kind of set down the cream with this powder. I'm so sorry, my throat is, I'm on the verge of a coughing attack. I'm trying to keep it together. So I'm just adding a tiny bit of that powder to my nose too. And then I just go in and blend it out with one of my, this is such an old brush. This is another one of the It Cosmetics brushes, and I just blended it out. Going in with the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow blush. I believe I have the shade Baroque. I haven't used this in so long, and then I just thought about it, and I'm like, why haven't I used it? That's such a beautiful shade. It is definitely like a glowy blush, but again, doesn't make me look greasy or shiny or anything, just gives a nice, pretty, healthy glow to the skin, which is what I need right now. And I'm sorry I use about 5 different blushes in this video, but I've been really liking mixing my blushes lately. This is the Dior Bronzed Glow blush. Going in with the Makeup by Mario brush. I believe it's the F2. I could be wrong. It might be F4. I'll look it up. Just adding a touch of blushy bronze there for a little bit more life. It's like, okay, girl, you have enough. But I keep going. Because I feel like with these bronzy blushes, they are a little more natural looking, even though, like, obviously I'm putting a ton on right now. Not that they fade easily, but I don't know. I feel like they look more natural, so I can get away with putting on more than I normally would. And then I just used that pinpoint powder brush again by Morphe and just blended it out a little bit. And I realized I completely forgot to put on bronzer. And I don't really need bronzer because I do have that contour on, but I just wanted to warm up my forehead just a little bit. I'm going in with a Sephora collection. It's one of the super, super fluffy bronzer brush. Sorry. Cannot speak today. Just trying to blend it down my neck just a tiny bit. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm obviously talking about the show. And then I'm just switching over to a skinnier powder brush. It's like a flat kind of paddle, a paddle brush from Morphe. This is one of the newer ones. It's a little bit skinnier, so I just went on my forehead with that one instead. I've been really heavy-handed with the bronzer and blush lately because I feel like the more the merrier. When you're sick, you're just so pale. It's like I could use as much bronzer and blush as I can get. Just taking that powder brush again and just kind of blending it out a little. And I am going in with my highlight. This is the Chanel Jeu de Lumière palette. It's a face and eye palette. Going in with those two lightest shades for my highlight. I know I did say that this wasn't worth it if you have very similar, like if you have the Dior palette. I don't think you need this, but I do think it's very pretty. I am going in with that kind of pinkier blush shade in that same palette. And I just went over top of my blush with that. So I've got a very glowy look going on. I'm going in with my Danessa Myricks palette. This is the Groundwork, the Neutrals palette. And I will write down the shade names as well. It's just those kind of like, they're a little bit warmer toned, kind of like sandy shades. The ones that are just right beside each other. And then I do go in the crease with that taupier shade afterwards. But yeah, I don't know, I've just been really liking, it's just such an easy palette to use. It's just a really good one and done. I was very interested in what was going on the TV. I'm sorry that I keep looking up. Sorry about that. So this is the eye that always, I have a weird bone right there, so it always looks like it's patching a little bit in that outer corner. It's really not. It's just the way my bone is. It always looks patchy, but it's not the eyeshadow. It's not me. It's my eye shape. It doesn't do it on that other eye. It's just this one side here. I'm kind of going at the outer corner here. And this is one of the Morphe Makeup by Ariel eyeshadow brushes. I felt like I was gonna sneeze, and then it went away. Going in with that lightest beigey tone on the eyes. I'm sorry, this is the most talking I've done in a while, so my throat is taking a beating right now. And then just taking that into the inner corner as well. And then that's when I'm taking the taupey shade. That's just going in the outer corner in the crease. And then for the eyeliner, I am going in with the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner in the shade Ash. Mine is getting tiny. I need to order another one. I should have done that when I got the contour stylus. I'm just sharpening it right now with difficulty, apparently. These are so smooth. Like, you barely even have to touch your lid and it just glides on, which can be scary sometimes, but you do have some playtime to work with them. But these are definitely some of my favorite eyeliners for sure. Just going in with literally all the deepest shades. I'm just mixing browns and black and then blending it out with an angled brush. Sometimes I just go in directly with those creamier shades instead of doing that Victoria Beckham liner. I just use the creamier shades as a liner. But today I just felt like using an eyeliner and blending it out with the shadow. So I didn't go in with any of the cream shades. I just went in with all of the powder shades in the palette. It's so funny. I feel like when you're sick and you don't do your makeup, I don't know, it almost makes me feel like, even though I physically am not feeling great, if I look decent and put together, it almost makes me think that I'm feeling better, if that makes any sense. You know, even though I'm physically still sick, I feel like if I actually try and like dress up and put some clothes on and do my hair, I somehow feel like I physically feel better just because I look better. Is anybody picking up what I'm putting down here? I don't know. Maybe I'm just delirious. Just blending that out a little bit more. I love this palette. Every time I come back to it, I'm like, why did I ever stop using this? And then I go on a streak where I use it for like a week or two straight every single day, and then I basically get sick of it, and then I switch to something else. But I don't know, I've just been loving it. It's just so useful. You could use it on your lips, you could use it on your eyes, you could use it as contour. I just feel like it's a great palette. My husband is watching Mad Men, so I'm just kind of getting into it. I think he's already on season 3. Literally just started watching it. He's already watched it before, but I was starting to get invested. You could see me making commentary throughout this video. Sorry about that. And then I am just going in with my eyelash curler. This is just a Lancome eyelash curler. It's old. Definitely need a new one. I know some people recommended the Refer eyelash curler. I'm definitely interested in trying that one. So I just went in with my MAC Stack mascara. And now I'm trying the Rhode Peptide Lip Sculpt, I think it's called. I will double check on that. And I have the shade Twist. So that's what the shade looks like. I'm just showing you, it is easy to wipe away. I know a lot of people were complaining about that. It's almost like a lipstick or a lip balm where you can easily just wipe it off of the lips, which I think kind of defeats the purpose. Obviously, if you have a lip liner or a lip contour, you want it to stay, and having used the Victoria Beckham contour, that one actually does stay around my lips all day long. And was hoping that the Rhode one would kind of do the same thing and last just as long. It is not long lasting, so that's one thing. They do have quite a few shades. They have a really good shade range, which is great. But yeah, if you are looking for something that's very long lasting, I don't think you're gonna want to try this one. But I just bought one shade. Apparently this shade, I'm just showing you the outer packaging, it reminds me of a hot dog. I don't know why. There's something about the packaging that reminds me of a hot dog. Sorry, I also have a cough candy in my mouth. That's why I'm like chomping on something in the video and moving it from each side of my mouth. I am going in with a MAC lipstick. I believe I used Folio first, and then I went in with did I miss this step here? So I went in with Folio, and then I went in with Flesh Pot, and then I just went in with a touch of the Maybelline Hot Sand, and then I decided to just touch up again a little bit with the Rare Beauty lip liner. Like I said, they do have a really, really great shade range, and if you don't care that your lip liner moves around a little bit, I think then you would like it. But just for myself, if I'm gonna be, you know, eating and then going somewhere after, like, I don't want my lip liner to be all over the place. I don't mind it. I do really like the shade, so I'm okay with it. I just had a little hive there, so I was just covering that up. But yeah, that's just something to know. It's something to note if you are wanting a very long lasting lip product, then that's probably not the one for you. But they do have a great range. And I'm going in with more blush. I'm using the House Labs Fire Moon blush. I just wanted to give myself even a little bit more life to the skin. And I believe that was the last step. I'm just going in and touching up with a little bit more powder. And that was pretty much it. I just realized that I said Rare Beauty instead of Rhode lip liner. I lied. I forgot that I used the Anastasia Impeccable setting spray. This has a really nice fine mist. I just got the mini size because I wasn't sure how I'd like it. But so far I am really, really liking it. I did notice, I wore a mask one day because I'm sick, that it did transfer. My foundation still transferred a little bit even though I use this. I feel like when I use the one size spray, it does not transfer at all. But with this one, I did have a little bit of transfer, but I do think it makes the skin very pretty and beautiful. So there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next weekend, and I love ya.